Yo, what's up, everyone? Watashi wa KNDY desu. And I know there's a lot of news going around about what's happening with the VTubing community and fortunate situations that have happened to some of the top names of streamers that have had unfortunate situations happen, and also that has led to many people leaving their agency. First and foremost, my feeling is that I feel that a lot of these VTubers who have left and may go about it as independent, I think it's an awesome situation because I do feel that a lot of them can do things without an agency, to a point. I think it depends on what you're really after. If you are wanting to gain popularity in variety of countries, have a music deal where an agency can definitely work with a certain certain recording label, especially a major one. There are some openings, especially if you for these Japanese agencies and so forth. Uh, Now, again, for those of you who are not familiar with me, I've worked with Japanese entertainment companies for many years, and I've worked with many major celebrities in Japan, and I've also um, have had the opportunity to work with the top companies. And again, I chose this path of going independent is because I know how things are in the Japanese entertainment industry, of how obligations, operation costs, and so forth happen, and also knowing full well of seeing the differences between those who are very lucky or very talented to get a position to to further a career and have a career for many years. But then I have seen the opposite end of those who are signed and unfortunately are unable to, they could have anime theme songs, they could have popular hits, but if there is something that a certain staff member of the agency that is part of that managing team does not like, they're not going to promote you, or they're not going to give you much support and so forth. Now, with that being said, I do not know the particulars of what is happening with the agencies involved, because we've seen things in the past few years. We've seen the news. We've seen, I mean, this is unfortunate that we are seeing VTubers who have had magnificent careers quit the company, maybe due to mental health. They just need a break. They got sick. There are things that happen behind the scenes that people are probably not privy to, especially when dealing with toxic, uh, you know, employees or management, to certain shady individuals who may be giving out personal info or leaking info that they shouldn't have. But there's a lot of things. I'm not going to say that all of them are bad. There are some that have done very positive for the artists that they support and believe in, and we're with them every step of the way. You see that there are VTuber talents that you could tell who is getting the support and those who are not. You see the collabs and those who are left out of the collabs. those are the unfortunate things that that is part of this industry. Unfortunately, I can tell you right now that it's not limited to the VTubing agency or VTubing industry. Unfortunately, it does happen in various industries in Japan. uh, Entertainment, even the anime industry, even the manga industry. I've I've seen it all. Again, I've worked and have friends in those industries that I don't know how many stories or how many things I've heard from them, you know, for years. And I've even seen things myself, unfortunately, that I just said, "Wow, that is so messed up." Unfortunately, even certain individuals who may be super popular, top tier, wonderful in terms of PR promotion, that could be downright rotten on the you know beyond what people see on magazines and music videos and so forth. Sometimes it's all an act, and sometimes I've seen hardworking people who give their all, and unfortunately, it's not good enough. It's not enough. It's never enough, to the point that they get sick, they're gone, they're out. I've seen it again. Manga creators, people who work in anime, people who work in the music industry, and now we are starting. You're starting to hear more about it in the VTuber agency. It's not just VTubers as well. It happens with even Japanese YouTubers, popular ones as well. And unfortunately, there's also differences in terms of how people perceive things. And people say, well, there's the Japanese culture, the Japanese way of doing business. Certain debts have to be paid, um, and whether or not they chalk it up to operation costs or whatever. You hear it all. I mean, it's just not even Japan, and you see it in East Asia. Um, my gosh, even it happens in the K-pop world, where you hear people who may have successful music never have gotten paid because their the money they earned went to operating costs. And yeah, there is no doubt that certain productions cost money, staff costs money, but at the same time, there are certain things that is very troubling. For one thing, I have to say that if one thing that I've read today from various VTubers who have quit their agency, they did so, and they were able to leave without much repercussion. The fact they could leave from their to terminate their contract, that's positive to see that they can just do that. There's some companies that make it very, very, very difficult. And unfortunately, uh, there are some companies that go as far as blackballing the the talent. And unfortunately, there's a lot of news that they either got sick or they did something very bad. Certain news that unfortunately will paint the the entertainer or the talent in a bad light. Again, there's been so many things that happen in the Japanese entertainment industry that is just really unfortunate. And we are starting to see certain changes with the industry where those who have been hurt, their careers have been threatened, they're coming out and saying things, and we are starting to see certain talents, no matter how popular, no matter how you know powerful they are, they're getting called out, and their careers are now being put into the the media microscope, and it's something that you usually don't see in the past. They usually hid those things. In today's social media world, in today's world of people coming out and being forefront on YouTube or on Twitch or on social media in general, there are people who just have had enough, and they've seen how things have worked in the past, where people just remain quiet. You just do your job, remain quiet, and just keep mum. Maybe threats of career, threats against family, threats against losing money. There's just so many things that that people people have had people in the industry have had faced, and being blackballed is one of the troubling things we have seen with entertainers. But one thing with VTubers that's very fascinating is that they can come back, they can be reborn, maybe with a different name, a different look, but it can happen. And the thing is, they don't necessarily need an agency uh, to have fans who will support them, and fans who will be there in every step of the way. Yes, today's news uh, is really bad. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. It is bad. But at the same time, please note that there are good companies out there. There are good managers out there. But at the opposite end of the spectrum, there are some who are just rotten to the core, some who just have bad business practices, and there's a lot that needs to be said, and there's a lot of things that need to be done if they need to rebuild the just pretty much rebuild their whole image, because right now we've seen it happen in these past 2 or 3 years, where certain companies, a lot of people have been unjustly treated, and treated terribly. And I just feel that you know I I hope that with all the things they have gone through, I think that going independent should give them that peace of mind. Hopefully, um, they, and we've seen it happen already with a few, that have been able to regain or even do better than what they've done before. It's not an easy industry with a lot of competition, but the thing is that if you do what you love, and you know that you call the shots of how your career or how things are going on with your VTubing, I guess you could say, career, or even some of you may look as a hobby, or whatever. Just know that even if you have to start from scratch, it's okay. It's okay. Especially if you already had a fandom and people know your voice. People will know. They'll come back and support you, even as a new character, as a new you know a new environment. It's all good. It's definitely all good. But I guess if anything, is that, if I have to say, is that yes, there are some bad companies out there who, or even bad business practices, and in today's age, you kind of have to hold them accountable. But at the same time, yes, there are differences in cultures, but still, you kind of are asking for it if you deny money that's going to people who are in need, medical need. That's just one of the worst things I've ever heard of, denying that money that was raised. People put a lot of hard work into that, and that is just unfortunate. And I applaud those who say, you know what, I'm not going to stand for this, or for those who pretty much, you know, got the courage to say, you know what, something is happening to me, I don't like it, and I'm not going to stand for it anymore. So I applaud you all for taking that step. If you have been wronged, and also I do feel that those of you who have been alone, or who have been tight-lipped because of things that are happening to you, just know that there is some momentum right now, and I have to thank her, because unfortunate with her situation, she's brought out people from the woodwork who've also been wronged, and again, people, these fellow YouTubers or VTubers, they're not going to stand for it anymore. And I want them to fight, but at the same time, even if they go independent, continue that that vibrant that the vibrant attitude, the vibrant, you know, just being the way they were. Again, maybe a different character, maybe different atmosphere, but it's all good. It's all good. As long as your mental health is much better, and you can say to yourself, you know what, I should have done this a long time ago. So it's all good. It's all good. And again, I'm I'm not surprised of what's going on from seeing the things I've seen for years. But at the same time, um, while there are good people, there are good managers, there are good agencies, or good parts within an agency, because a lot of these Japanese agencies are little tiny parts that build the company. But the thing is that just know there are good people out there. They're not all bad. But at the same time, those who have been wronged, those who have been getting tight-lipped because they've been promised money, or that they will be someday paid when they have not been paid, I think, if anything, I think there's a reckoning right now. And again, all I could say is fight, stand up for what you feel is right, believe in yourself, and believe in your fans, but also know that you will not stand up for any of this shadiness, for being mistreated. And just know that a lot of people do support you. I support you, and I wish you all the best. Okay, everyone, that's all I have to say. You all take care, and I'll see you later. Wink, wink, and